Are you or someone you love concerned after receiving a cancer diagnosis? You just don't know what to do, and so many people, well-meaning people, are coming to you with a lot of advice. So here's what I want to tell you. Take a breath. It is time to take a breath because many of us make decisions in life and we want to have as much information in front of us. But what happens when you get a cancer diagnosis? You get rushed into making a decision before you are ready to make a decision. If this sounds like you or someone you love, then stop. Stop right now. Just stop. Go get a pen and pencil because today in the classroom, we have Zakariya Frank back into the classroom, and he is part of beatcancer.org. And as you all know, I've just recently become a holistic cancer coach, and I'm so excited to talk about this and other things that you can do to stop and embrace all solutions so that your outcome can be exactly what you want.
And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
Hi, my name is Lillian McDermott, and I am a certified health coach, a certified holistic cancer coach, and the host of the Lillian McDermott radio show. If this is the first time you're in the classroom, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Yes, you heard correctly. I am a now certified holistic cancer coach, and I'm so excited to share this information and share the wonderful organization beatcancer.org and what they're doing in the world. And I'm just excited that Zakariya Frank, he is here with us today to share with us that you just need to stop and breathe. And what are the things you can do to embrace a more holistic solution for whatever diagnosis you have? And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that Zakariya Frank is here to do just that. Welcome back to the classroom, Zakariya. So nice catching up with you.
So nice to be here, Lily. Thank you for having me on again. I love it.
Yes, yes. So share a little bit about your background, and how long you've been with beatcancer.org and how you got involved with them.
So I've been with beatcancer.org as the CMO for a bit over a year now. It was July of last year that I joined. And how I got involved, it's a funny story. It might have been destiny. It might have been right place, right time, or a bit of all the above. So I was just attending a men's networking event for business professionals and happened to meet this wonderful gentleman, and we got to chatting, and he said, "Hey, I work with a holistic cancer education nonprofit." And at that moment in time, I had been someone that just for personal reasons had done extensive research and learning on holistic health and healing in all capacities. And so naturally I learned a lot about cancer and holistic modalities to address cancer. And so when he mentioned that, as a holistic health enthusiast, I was excited and I said, "Oh, so do you talk about this and these kind of things, or do you go this route and talk about this and this?" And then his eyes lit up and he said, "Whoa, how do you know these things? Who are you?" And from then on, we just jived through the whole night and had a great time. And through some follow up, he let me know that, hey, he doesn't just work with the organization, he's the CEO of the organization. And turned out he was looking for someone to partner up with, and I was looking for some new work to get into. And so we didn't know what the partnership was going to look like. We didn't know what working together was going to look like, but I liked him. The more I learned about Beat Cancer, the more I liked and loved the mission. And so that's what I've dedicated the majority of my life to in the last year.
Thank you, and I've been recruited into it. I've really, it was a process to become a holistic cancer coach, and I want all of you to know that if becoming a holistic cancer coach resonates with you, I've got a link below that you can click on and you can start looking at the program that I took that you might want to add to already what you're doing if you're a holistic or if you even work with people or don't work with people with cancer, because I believe that all roads lead there. So, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's for cancer or just better health, I believe that this program is amazing. And I understand that you have a special code. If people click on the link that I've provided, they get 10% off. So what can you say about that, Mr. Zakariya Frank?
Yeah, absolutely. We love Lillian, we love Lily's show, and we love that she likes to platform us and mention us. And so, out of a token of appreciation, we're glad to offer a discount to your audience if you use the code Lily10. It's LILLY, right?
Yes.
10. And be sure to, when you enter the coupon code, click the check mark box to apply the code. You'll get a 10% discount for being a loyal listener of Lily's. But just to really mention it on the point that you said, you don't have to be a medical professional already
No.
or a holistic practitioner already to take the course. We have people on all levels of the spectrum, anyone from oncological surgeons to cancer patients themselves who just want to give back to others. And so a lot of people get intimidated. Well, ooh, would I make a good coach? I don't know. And they feel maybe they're not good enough because they don't have some other certifications. That's okay. We'll meet people where they are, no matter what capacity people wish to help people. If you wish to help people, we wish to help you. So anyone's welcome to become a coach.
And I have to tell you, I didn't want to talk to you about this off the air because I wanted it to be real and organic. And most of our conversations, other than making sure that we have this, discuss this or that, but all our conversations are organic and they're not rehearsed or anything like that. But I don't want to talk about things beforehand, because sometimes when you share it before we start recording, then the passion is gone, or oh, I already said it, or I forget. But I want to tell you that the experience of doing the course has been very rewarding. I don't I can I don't know if words will convey my gratitude for this, but to be able to have not just be a certified life coach, but to also, because I hear people all the time that have illnesses, to be able to take that and say, okay, now I know how to approach somebody um, that may want or may need a gentle hand, a gentle approach. And I love the approach that Beat Cancer has, which is, to listen to what the client, patient has to say and work as a coach on their behalf to be able to achieve them. Not only be able to achieve it, but to educate them, because that's what I feel. And I've seen and I know that most people, once they get a diagnosis, they either say, ah, the diagnosis is bigger than me, or they get half the information of what to do with that diagnosis, or they seldom think that there's an other option. So today's class is about embracing holistic solutions, not because we want to beat you over the head with it, but because we want to look at that you have an informed choice, that you have all the information before or after you breathe, that one diagnosis where you breathe and you take a step back and say, okay, let me look at my options. No different than you would make a decision for your business, a decision to buy a house, a decision to buy a car. You want to look at what all the options are. What do you say about, what have you seen since joining beatcancer.org? Have you seen when it comes to being able to help people embrace that holistic side?
Well, I think one of the things that you mentioned there is one of the most important points, in that we're not here to beat anyone over the heads. We're not going to go protest for people to
Yep.
do anything with us and fight people to make use of our information, right? that's I respect free will, and we respect free will. And if someone doesn't want to embrace holistic approaches, then that's their prerogative, and that's totally okay for them, right? So anyone that does want to, whether they are team holistic all the way, or they're just getting their feet wet or dabbling or want to learn more, we just want to provide the information. And we encourage open-mindedness, and we encourage a entire being willing to change your entire mental schema,
Mhm.
because the truth of the matter is that the defaults of society in operating and thinking and approaching anything is very compartmentalized. And inherently, a compartmentalized way of thinking is the antithesis to holistic thinking. It's the opposite. When we try to go into holistic approaches with a conventional compartmentalized mindset, it doesn't really work. And a lot of people do that because they don't really know anything else. All they know is, I have X problem, I take Y pill for X problem. One and done. You could write it on a piece of paper like math. But the body's not that. The body's not that mathematical. It's more fluid. It's more, different scenarios intertwining with each other. And so I think the fundamental thing to keep in mind is understand that if you're going into holistic solutions for the first time, it's entirely different than the X problem, Y pill mentality. There's a lot to uncover. It's work. It does take work. It's not for like the people that don't want to do the work, whether it's you know what I mean?
No, no, no. I get it. And speaking of fundamentals, let's talk about those fundamentals. There are, can you explain the fundamentals of the belief system or for beatcancer.org? Because I do want to bring it back to beatcancer.org and the philosophy fundamentals that we get to kind of stop and think, wow, this is an option for me. Wow. And just be open to some of the things that are fundamental differences or maybe myths that people have about it. So, what would you say are some of those differences that you might find that people need to become aware of the fundamentals of beatcancer.org?
Well, I always say that everything in holistic health starts with doing an audit. So anytime we work with someone doing an intake or a consultation, the first thing we have to do is audit that person's life. Not just everything that's going on right now, but even everything that's ever gone on. Because everything in life adds to the sum or the deficit of our state of health. And so the first thing that I think is very unique in regards to or in comparison to conventional thinking is that we have to figure out everything that's being input into that body that has ever been input into that body. And that's on two sides of the equation. The physical side, of course, what's the diet like? What's the food like? What's the eating, schedule like? What is the water consumption like? What else is eaten or drank that shouldn't be? And we all kind of know these things, but I don't think as many people as would be good understand how important even these basics are. Because when we put things in the body that have no place in the body, our body doesn't know what to do with them. It causes chaos. And over time, it makes it difficult for our organs to get that stuff out. And then it builds up and up and up. And our body can take a lot. It can take a lot of mistreatment, but it can only take so much until certain organs start going sour and shutting down. And that's what we call cancer.
Mhm.
And so obviously there's other facets to physical input into the body. There's body products. There's what kind of air are you breathing? Are you spraying chemical air fresheners all over your house? What kind of clothing are you wearing? Because even that seeps into your pores. There's so many physical inputs into our bodies that I think the average person is rather unconscious of, and that's to their own detriment because
Mhm.
the default option available on the shelves of Walmart is probably doing some harm. So there's the physical side of things. You got to figure out what might be built up in the body that hasn't been purged. Then there's the emotional side and the spiritual side of things because that can make us unwell just as quickly, if not more quickly, than the physical side of things. And emotional poisons, emotional traumas, unresolved emotional energies in the body can, over time, cause our cells to turn sour as well. And again, that's what we call cancer. So you have to figure out where you are to develop a game plan to get to where you want to go, and where you want to go is health, and then you bridge the divide. Um, so yeah, I think a lot of that, even in what I said just there, is a lot different than what most people consider. The Just how important the simple, basic food and water options are, and just how important resolving those unresolved
Yeah.
emotional energies is.
Yeah, and I want to add to some of the things that you said because they resonate big. As a coach, whether it's as a life coach or a holistic cancer coach, I will tell you there's always a drop that run the cup over. You know, it's like you said, we're putting a drop a day, an hour, a minute, whether it's your thoughts, the way you're eating, the way you're behaving, whatever it is, it adds a drop to our body, which is the bucket. And once that one drop, it's like all I did was this. Well,
Yeah.
no, it's not just that one drop. It's the multiple drops that cause the bucket or the cup to overflow. And that's what people don't understand. And I like how you say, okay, look at the physical, the environmental, the emotional. Now I want to address the emotional because this is something that has always fascinated me, especially since I learned that I too was doing this, that emotionally, most diseases start through the emotional component, right? It's the emotional component. And disease is about 95% starts from emotional component. But we spend most of our time fixing the body, which is the 5%. So we spend the majority of the time focusing on that 5% when we could switch gears and look at the emotional component, which affects the body 95% or more. And even allopathically, they've done these studies that people that have a heart attack or some symptoms on a Monday morning, or they go to the hospital and they're trying to figure out what's going on with that particular person, they say that the majority of them, it's like 65 to 85%. I can't remember so please forgive me. It's been a while since I've seen this statistic. I think it's 65%, but this is allopathic. Now, if you could think about allopathic, 65% is attributed to the emotional. Now, I hope that people don't hear that I'm saying it's in your head. It's not in your head. You're feeling these feelings and these you're feeling all the symptoms. And they're real, but the root cause of it is the genesis is the trauma, the drama, the perceived not enough. All these things, those play a key role in that emotional. I mean, what would you say about that, Zachariah?
Yeah, it's so important. And what's fascinating is, even though we are talking emotional and that is metaphysical, but it isn't just in your head in the sense that
Nope.
it's like made up and just thoughts. These things literally store in the body. That's
Yes.
the whole problem. Our body wants to protect us. And so
Mhm.
when energy is built up in us, well, energy can't be destroyed. It can only be transformed and moved around. And so, if we're experiencing a massive spike or even a prolonged state of negative emotional charge, our body wants to survive. So, it tucks it away for us, just like it does with, all right, yeah, we made this, fat and we don't need it, extra energy, we'll store it away. Well, it does that with emotional energy as well. And
Mhm.
different emotional charges store in different specific organs in our body in different
Right.
areas. And what's fascinating is that you can actually address that physically also. So the emotional stuff, yeah, you absolutely it's advisable to address it on an emotional level and a mental level and cognate on your traumas, but you can also address it from the physical side as well. And what does that mean? Well, I work with a clinical shiatsu specialist, and he is trained in several adjacent arts as well, several adjacent body manipulation or massage healing arts. And there's times where he'll work on an area of my body, my shoulder, my abdomen, whatever, and he'll hit a pocket of something, and a specific memory full of that specific emotions
Yep.
that correlate with that specific memory will rush to my head. It's very, very fascinating. And I'm someone that has done, an extensive amount of emotional resolve and working through the stuff that I've had go on in my life. And
Mhm.
yet there's still stuff tucked away that we find
Yep.
sometimes.
Yep.
And so it's very fascinating. I think the best approach for any ailment, whether it did stem from the emotional side and then impacted the physical, or vice versa, because it can
Mhm.
go both ways,
Mhm.
is addressing it both ways. Flank the problem. Go this way and go this way, and
Mhm.
then make it all good from both directions.
Perfect. Great
That,
advice.
yeah.
Great advice. And so with that, I mean, you're just like, going into my next question for you. And the next myth is that if you try a holistic approach, somehow you can't do, or if you try conventional, you cannot do holistic or a more gentle approach in your body. So let's talk about integration of the conventional and the holistic. What do you say about that?
Well, I have two answers. One is beatcancer.org's answer,
Yeah.
and I'll give that one first. So we at beatcancer.org are on a mission to help as many people as possible. So if someone wants to go 100% into holistic modalities, then that's their prerogative, and we will provide our information for them to help themselves in that way. If someone isn't ready to do that, or doesn't want to, or isn't comfortable, and just whatever their reason is, that's their business, decides that they also want to go to conventional treatments to any degree, well, the same things that will help a body in the first place will also help a body not suffer the consequences of conventional modalities. And so we will also work with those individuals and provide the information all the same, and do whatever we can to help them. Our in house counselor offers counseling in either of those scenarios. Our independent coaches have the right to decide what they want to do in their independent practices. So that's up to them. But, anyone's welcome on our weekly call, no matter what level of the spectrum that you are on. And even within our coaches community, we have people on all levels of the spectrum. We have people that are in the conventional medical fields, be it as a nurse or an oncologist or a surgeon, anything. But then we also have people that have never and will never step foot in a hospital or any medical establishment for their entire lives, and would never recommend doing so. We seek to not be an echo chamber of just one philosophy, and that is what has to apply to everybody. We seek to be able to best service everybody. So that's Beat Cancer's answer. My personal answer is a bit more harsh. I don't like the integration that we're seeing. I think it's a Trojan horse, and I think it's a trick. So if you study the history of allopathy and conventional medicine in the modern world,
Mhm.
they chose to very much not play nice with holistic practitioners and holistic medicine and holistic healing. And fundamentally, a lot of the processes are actually diametrically opposed to holistic health and wellness. It's oil and water. And I think only now in recent times that we're seeing a surge of people demanding and desiring and only seeking out holistic approaches. Do we see the people who didn't want to play nice with holistic medicine saying, "Hey guys, you could actually come get some of that here." And there are wonderful integrative, or people that describe as integrative oncologists, and integrative medicine and integrative doctors and functional doctors, all these words that people put out. But I think a lot of the times, like I was saying, it's a Trojan horse to ultimately just give chemo and radiation, and that's what they're always going to try to put you down the path of. And they'll, have some incense going or some aromatherapy in the office. Like, so you got to be careful. It's hard to give a blanket generalization, but I think if you understand the body and you understand certain ways of looking at the body holistically, oil and water is very hard to make mix, and very hard to make mix in a lasting and true way.
That So great to hear you say that. And I think that one of the reasons why people are now demanding a more holistic approach is after the recent years of handling a virus or a flu or a cold or whatever, where now that there are some people have been medicalized through injections or um, uh, now they're finding that the body is responding to sickness quicker. I believe that people have become aware that perhaps maybe there's something that we can do about that.
Yeah.
There's been a huge increase in cancers, also other diseases as well, autoimmune diseases. I hear this all the time. I have never been this sick my whole life, and I hear that all the time. I ask the question, did you do anything drastic to prevent one thing or another? I just want to make sure that
Hey, listen, hey,
there's
if you want to go there, let's go there. Listen,
I
they
know, but
overplayed their
I
hand.
want to avoid saying what we're going there for because I think that people can add two and two together
Yeah.
and know that and maybe they're still in denial, but and it's sad because fear, and I'm not trying to place fear because I don't believe there's fear belongs in my vocabulary. It doesn't belong in the classroom. But I think awareness and staying on top of it. Just recently, my husband was sick and he woke up overnight with a cough. And I immediately said, okay, take oregano, here's some elderberry cough syrup, some syrup, and there's a nebulizer, hydrogen peroxide nebulizer treatment. And he
Yeah.
waited, he didn't do it as fast as, the body is replicating fast and people's bodies are replicating that have done something to alter their DNA, alter their body. It's caused them to replicate even more, causing them to be
Yeah.
sick. So
It's
without saying what
ridiculous.
we're talking about,
Yeah.
can you explain your insight on this?
Yeah. The medical establishment has overplayed their hand. And the media has also overplayed their hand in hand. And so they had put people into such a slumber for so long, and people fell for it. People fell for the trick. But I hate the people that say, I don't hate the people, but it's
It's
frustrating to when people say, "Oh, oh wow, we didn't know that this thing that they pushed and forced everyone, forced being in quotes, most of the time, to coerced everyone it took was gonna kill everybody. Oh, we didn't know. They didn't know. We knew. Maybe
yeah.
you didn't know, but we knew. Those who took the time and made the effort to understand health instead of blind faith trusting
Hmm.
systems that profit off of you being unwell, we knew. And a lot of the times we were trying to tell you, and you didn't listen. So although fear is very dangerous, and
Yes.
yeah, to not have it in your vocabulary, that's fantastic. Accountability
Hmm.
and responsibility and understanding the objective truths, even if they're difficult, those are essential
Hmm.
because nothing happens otherwise. There's no sugarcoating. If you did something that impacted your health negatively, you did that. And I honestly don't want to hear, oh, well, I did it for my job or I did it
Because I
for
wanted to
grandma
travel. I wanted
or
to
all this
travel.
garbage
Yeah.
because in the end, this is your health. And you know what? There were people who chose to protect their bloodstream rather than protect their job. There are more jobs. And that doesn't mean that people weren't put in difficult situations. But bravery means nothing unless you're in a difficult situation. You don't stand for anything if times are easy. You only know if you actually can stand and make a stand for what's
Mhm.
good and what is right and for yourself and your future children when things get difficult.
Yeah.
So the first thing is to take personal accountability and responsibility. The second thing would be to assess which of the options you did obtain, because again, I don't believe anything that they put out there about any of them. But allegedly, one of the options was different than the rest in the sense that it wasn't designed to alter DNA. So if you're in that camp, then I think that one's perhaps a little better. Um, it's not something I've actually even done too much looking into because me and anyone I love and care about who understands that they should listen to me about anything understood not to go and get it. So I haven't really had to care too much about what to do to reverse it. But allegedly, there are fantastic things to do specifically to reverse those things. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I understand what you're saying, Zachariah, but I will say that there is a lot of remorse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of remorse, and that if you're experiencing remorse, it's not the end all be all. There are things that you can do to help your body. And the first thing that I want to recommend for everybody to do is to get a D-dimer test. A D-dimer test will show if there's any circulating blocks, or not blocks, but clogs, or what do you, the word is
Plot.
clots. That's it, clots. Thank you, Zachariah. So to see what the circulating clots, what clots you have in your body, to see if those are becoming increased. You get a baseline. Just go and get a baseline. Ask for your doctor to prescribe a D-dimer test. I don't even know if you need a doctor's prescription, but if they say no, go to another doctor, get a D-dimer. And that way you'll know if there's any clotting in your body. Then you can do something about it, because not knowing is the worst. Not
And
knowing is the worst.
this is a fantastic point because it goes back to what I was saying before. Energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed. And so, what you're talking about is actually the transforming of remorseful energy into something good.
Hmm.
Use that remorse.
Hmm.
Don't try to deny it. Understand that it's there and it's there for a reason. All of our emotions are natural sequences in our body that are there to be guiding figures. So if
Yeah,
you're feeling remorseful or regretful or just any sort of negative charge,
yeah,
if you take that and convert all of that energy into fueling you to make a positive change in your life, well, that's probably the best move on the board. That's probably the best card to play because that's strong energy. Look, and there's things that I'm remorseful about and
yeah.
regretful about that
Me
I've made
too.
in my life
Yeah,
that weren't the best choices. But sitting around and being sorry for myself, that doesn't do anything. Sitting and stressing and fearing and not taking any action, that doesn't do anything
or
other
feeling
than feeling.
guilty, or feeling guilty that you did,
Exactly. And that's normal and natural. But if you use that to fuel you to make positive changes, then you can get to a better scenario. And like I
Yeah,
said, I don't know what the parameters exactly in people's body are going on, but doing healthy things is only going to bring you in a better direction. Even if you can't necessarily, and again, I don't know, but in the hypothetical scenario where, say, you were at 100% health before and doing certain things, whatever they were, brought you to 10, 20, 30, 50, whatever. And even if 100 is no longer achievable in life, that doesn't mean it wouldn't be a good idea to do good things to get you to 75, 80, 90, right?
hmm, hmm,
Like if you
yeah,
break your arm once, maybe you'll never have that great throw that you had before. That doesn't mean you shouldn't keep it strong and work it out all the same, right?
yeah,
Things happen. We take bumps and bruises along the way. We'll never be our 18-year-old selves again.
yeah,
But that doesn't mean just give up. You're still alive, you're still in the game. There's something you can do to improve your health. And I'm not even talking about one particular thing. That's in any regards. And the same things that keep you healthy and cancer free were going to be what helps you in any other ailment or thing that's going on. It's all the same. There's different manifestations and different specific instances of how ailment in the body presents, but it's the same things that keep you
yeah.
healthy in one regard. They're going to help you in all regards.
And with that, I want to encourage all of you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Whenyouneedafriend.com, this is where we take ownership, responsibility for our life. Because here's the good news, and this is something I didn't understand when I started my journey 13, 14 years ago into where I'm at today, um, is that if you created it, you can uncreate it. If you had the power to hurt yourself or damage yourself, or put yourself in a difficult situation, you also have the power to turn it around. How do you turn it around? We do it together. We do it at whenyouneedafriend.com. While you are at whenyouneedafriend.com, please become subscribe to the website and subscribe to all the channels. Just check out at my website at whenyouneedafriend.com. You could just click on YouTube and Facebook and BitChute and all the different Instagram. They're all there. All you have to do is click on it and you can subscribe, like, and follow. Share this video, because by sharing this video with your friends and family and those that you love, and maybe not even like, and just maybe just want to, don't know how to talk to them about something, share the video with them and let them know that you care enough to share. It will, by doing that, or by putting emojis or liking or making comments, you bypass the algorithms that is suppressing this information. This year alone, or since 2022, I've had 75 videos removed from YouTube, just so that you know.
Well
And
done.
so,
Well
yeah,
done. It's an
well,
honor.
yeah. And so with that in mind, I want to encourage you that if the more you reply, the more you share, the more you that, the algorithms cannot touch us. So please keep that in mind. Also, I want you to check out my sponsors and support them the way that they're supporting the classroom. And you can also go to my Shop Now bag, look at all the Lilly approved products. We have the link for beatcancer.org so that you can put in your Lilly 10 and start, whether it's that you want to, try something, go to a coach, get to the certification. The certification has three parts. One of them is that you just want to educate yourself. The second one is that you want to go a little bit deeper. And the third one is that's when you take the cancer coach certification. And that's where you start going, so this is where the magic happens, where you start learning new truths that perhaps you did not know were true. Maybe you thought they were false. And now all of a sudden there's a shift in you, because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Same thing happened to me, and I know it'll happen to you. So check out my Shop Now bag, and whether it's, makeup or, pain management, all of that could help the classroom grow. Some are affiliate pages and some are not. So whatever you do, just know it's me trying to help you to kind of shorten the amount of time that you spend researching it, but research all the products, research everything that is there so that you can make it your truth, not mine, but yours. Also want to tell you that I am so excited about the code that Zach and beatcancer.org is giving us, that if you can click the link below, enter Lilly 10, that's Lilly 10, and get 10% off whatever it is that you want. But whatever you do, just empower yourself to do something different and new. Go in on it with a new perspective, not just to help everybody else, but to help yourself too. There are different ways that you can approach this. So go to the link below that will take you to that page, and you can make sure that you put in Lilly 10 and then click the application of that code so that you can get 10% off. Last but not least, you can become an enrolled student in the classroom, whether it's $1 or $1,000 a month, or a one-time donation of your time, your talent, your treasure. Whatever you can do will certainly help the classroom grow. But so thank you so much for anything that you're doing. And I do appreciate everything that you donate to the classroom. Today we have Zakariya Frank he's the CMO of beatcancer.org. I've really, from the moment I met you at the Annie Appleseed conference, it's like, okay, I want to spend every minute of my time with you, but I knew that you needed to spend time with other people. But I'm glad I get my one-on-one with everybody, can be a part of this with you. So thank you. And pretty soon we'll have Carl in the classroom too.
Yeah, he's got to get on here too. He's got a lot of good
Yes.
stuff to say.
Yes, we're still waiting to book him, but I'm really excited about that. Now, let's talk about beatcancer.org, because you said something a little while ago that I highlighted, I circled it, and I just want to make sure we go back to it, which is in-house counsel. In-house counsel, which is free. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, that's correct. That's one of our flagship programs. It's one that we're very proud of, and it's one that we've been offering for a very long time. So we have an in-house naturopathic doctor who has been in the field working with cancer patients for decades. She is very wonderful. She's like an OG in holistic health. She is so natural in life and living that she doesn't even keep the internet plugged in her home. She doesn't even keep a computer like on a desk or anything. She's very of the earth, and I think it's super cool. And we offer counseling with her for absolutely free. Remember, we're a charity, we're a nonprofit organization, always have been and always will be. And our mission is to help. So, anyone in the world that can speak English, she's an English speaker only currently, can call us, get in touch with her, and she'll provide personalized counseling, whether you just got diagnosed, whether you are in remission and want to prevent recurrence, so any step along the way that you might be, she is there and loves to help people. She loves to help people heal their bodies. And yeah, that's such a wonderful a program that I'm so proud to offer. And that's totally free. And that exists amongst several of our other free programs as well. But that is one of the very exciting ones.
Very good. And let's see if we can get her in the classroom too. That would be nice to have her come
Uh,
on and
like I
introduce
said,
her.
she doesn't like to even have her computer plugged in. She's very private. Yeah, I don't know if that would happen.
So is does she do this via Zoom or is just a phone call?
Yeah, she's over the phone. She is
Okay.
over the phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably a landline.
I do think it is. Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. You know, you did say something about taking a stand, and I've always said this to my children. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And
That's
so it's
correct.
very important that we know what our values are, what we want to achieve, and do we want to achieve it with the least amount of damage on our body as possible. And that to me is a rule that I have. I have this recurring kind of like going back and forth with a dear friend of mine that every time there's a cough or a congestion or something like that, and if I say, oh, we're doing oregano, or they're asking me, do this over the counter stuff, or do this antibiotic, or do this. And of course Robert and I are going to opt for something a little bit more natural, a little bit more. And so I was telling her that this was I was doing oregano because just recently Robert had a really bad cough, and I've been trying to protect my body, protect my terrain, so that because he's like the coughing, he's like coughing everywhere. And of course we were bought into that it's the germs, and not the terrain. And so I want to change that myth that is. So she told me the other day, she said, well, cocaine is natural. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. How did that go? How did we go from
There's all these
oregano to
stupid
cocaine?
things. There's all these stupid things that these stupid tropes
Well,
that people have. It's like, well, for firstly to address that one particularly, yes, in that sense, a lot of pharmas are natural too because they're derivatives and highly processed and a lot of times synthesized versions of isolates in a plant. That doesn't mean it's natural. There's a big difference. We're not talking about, what allows them to put natural on the label like in processed food products. We're talking about actuality and reality, right? Sugar, white sugar in that same sense is natural. It's derived from sugarcane, sure, but it's so processed and added to and bastardized that no, that's just cope and it's just lie and it's just not wanting to take accountability and really do things. It's wanting to poke fun at things that are
hey,
trying to
listen,
save you, you
I
know?
and Zachariah, and I have to tell you, 15 years ago, I was the one that was poking people's eyes. I was the one that was making fun of people like me. So I get it. So I'm very patient when people
Yeah.
challenge me that way. I just laugh it off, or I just say, I used to believe that. But after
Yeah.
13 years of research, see, people don't research. They just repeat what they say. So I don't want you to believe anything you hear. If you want to start at this foundation and do your own research so that it becomes your truth, that's where I want to encourage you and challenge you to that next level. But you know what? I just laugh it off. I don't take it
Yeah.
personally because I was the same way, Zachariah. One of those things that, I am paying my dues. I am paying my dues, and it's perfectly okay. Not everybody is where you and I are at. Not
Of course.
everybody's there. And when they use cocaine to kind of stress the point of natural, I said, "Hey, listen, I understand. Weed is natural, but I am highly
Yeah.
allergic to it. Weed doesn't work for me. So before I start with something that is synthetic, I'm going to do something that's natural that I
And
know blesses my body."
there's always levels to this, right? Like even weed is bastardized.
Yes.
Most weed on the market today is government weed sprayed with pesticides, and even beyond that, it's genetically modified. It's hybridized. The weed of today isn't even the weed of before. Yeah, and so it's like there's so many levels to is something natural, is it not? Did it used to be, but now the modern versions aren't really, so it's an entirely different thing, you know? There is no just one solution. There's a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray areas.
Yeah, and today really is about opening our minds about what else is out there. And I'll tell you, I don't know if I've shared this story with you, Zachariah, but prior to when I started my show, it was all about being a friend. I was on radio and I was handed a show, a radio show, and one thing led to another. And what triggered me to change my perspective was this guy, a raw vegan foodist, came to the station and he was giving food to these people that were terribly unhealthy. And I thought I was a healthy eater at the time. I'm like, oh yeah, well bring it to my show. I work for food, just bring it on and come on and we'll start the process of promoting your vegan raw food restaurant. So he came on and he brought food and he challenged me to do a 30-day raw vegan challenge, like a raw vegan food. And I said, bring it, because if it doesn't harm my body and it's legal, I can do something for 30 days, right?
Yeah.
What happened next was that after 4 days, I felt really, really good. But here's the deal, I didn't feel bad. I just didn't know I could feel better. And what I'm
Yes.
saying is that people get used to having aches and pains, thinking there's nothing else you can do. But the reality is, there's so much out there that we've been kept from. And I thought, and I said to myself that time, man, if food can make me feel this good, what else is out there? Boom. That
Yeah.
was the question, that curious question that I had that changed my life. After that, I couldn't look back, Zachariah. I couldn't. What was that moment for you? Because I know you're younger than me, much younger than me. You could be my son, my baby son. And so what was it for you? Because I call myself a generational pattern shifter, but I've come under a lot of ridicule by friends and family, the tin hat, the
Yeah.
aluminum foil hat, with my beliefs. I don't those things don't phase me because I used to say it too. So what was it for you that did you see your 18-year-old friends or your 20-year-old friends making decisions that you said, "Oh my gosh, I can't do this."
I just always had a healthy mistrust for evil. Yeah, I just always had an eye for evil. I would just always see things. No, I don't like that. That doesn't sit right with me. My mother was the kind of person that like instant she thought you might have a headache. Here's an Advil. Here's ibuprofen. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, stop. Like, no. Why are you taking this? Why are you trying to give me this? I don't need it. Like, can I just have a headache? Like, can I just drink some water, please? Like, just leave me alone. And I always knew better than the injectables. I fought against it, and I didn't like it. But I don't know. I didn't necessarily have a particular moment. I don't know if I told the story last time, but essentially, I after university found myself working at a big investment firm, just doing some computer work, and it was so easy at the entry level that I had a lot of free time. And with that free time, I would just peruse the internet and peruse Instagram. And I just happened to stumble across a fascinating sphere of Instagram, uncovering a lot of information. And I just started diving down every single rabbit hole imaginable, every single one. And it was insane. It was stressful. It was wild. I didn't know what to make of it. And the more I just learned, the more it kept resonating with my internal intuition of something's going on. And so I just started learning more and more, and confirming things I already knew, and learning more things I would have never even imagined. And the more I've learned and the more I've implemented in my life in the holistic and natural health directions, then the greater of an existence I've lived. And I've watched others that take my advice and listen to me live better and healthier lives themselves. And so I speak from experience. I'll always
Yes.
give a caveat when I don't know or haven't confirmed something, or I maybe just think something. And my thoughts and knowledge have changed over the years as well. But there's also things that I've just lived. And so there wasn't necessarily a one moment, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I grew up in a house full of right fighters, and the thought process was that if you believed it, it was true, and so that was, or whoever argued the loudest was the rightest. So but you know what? I love my family, and that's how I grew up, and I became that too. So you have to understand that we either fight against it or we become it, and so I had that role where I became it, and it was like I had to get out of it because that was not part of my nature. That was not who I really was. I had to blend in. I had to blend in. And so, with that in mind, I see a different way, but I don't want to push it onto people. Although, if somebody asks my opinion, or if I know of something, I'm going to warn you, the sky is falling. But again, it is not my job to save anyone. That's God's job. My job is to point people to some new truths. If they choose it or they don't choose it, that is up to them. I don't lose sleep over it, and I'm telling you honestly, I do not lose sleep even if it's my children. Even if it's my children, I have to work really hard to kind of like take it out of my mind that these are the choices they're making, and they are living their life just like I did. And I learned from every choice that I've made, good, bad, and ugly. So they're in their journey, I'm in my journey. And so it's that. And I want to go back again to becancer.org, because one of the things that is so crucial and critical is that I know that there's some podcasts and some time together, but support. Let's talk about support when it comes to beatcancer.org, and what are some of the things that people can do with beatcancer.org as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the primary things I like to mention first to get people involved in the community is our weekly calls. For anyone that can make it, we have a free weekly call that anyone can join. No sign up necessary. Just click the link and hop on the Zoom. Those are at Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link is easily found by going to becancer.org and clicking on the weekly call button right at the top. And those are just an open forum chat. Very casual, very low pressure. You can hop on. I'm on there. The CEO of the organization's on there. Several of our certified holistic cancer coaches are on there. And it's just an open forum for anyone to pitch a point for discussion, to offer a question, to mention their scenario, just to communicate with people, to ask what resources there are. It's a really good community program because cancer is so isolating and so lonely for so many people, and it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be that way. And it might feel intimidating maybe even to call and work with a counselor one-on-one, and although that's no commitment even itself, it's intimidating for people. So this is a very casual way to just start chatting about these things. You're welcome to take a look through our blog post. There's hours of reading to do. You're welcome to connect with us on social media. That's a wonderful way to just start filling your daily feed with interesting information and kind of keep us in your consciousness and just learn a thing or two along the way. We're on everything from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, even these days. And that's a great way to connect. You could always reach out to us via email. We are a very human to human organization. So myself and the CEO always monitor the support email. That's us you're talking to. That's support@beatcancer.org. And we'd be so happy to point you towards any program or any direction or even outside resources, because sometimes we've been around in the industry for quite a while. We know of things outside of ourselves that might be a good fit for you. And our mission is to help you. So if we can point you in the right direction to other people, we'll do that. Um, yeah, that's the Beat Cancer side. And of course, if anyone wants to take the educational courses that we offer to really empower themselves through education, or perhaps even turn it into a mission of helping others through cancer, please do that as well. And that helps us actually fund the free
Yes,
programs that
yes,
we
and
offer.
that's wonderful that you would turn around and offer a Lily 10% off. So the link is below for beatcancer.org if you want to go to the site, if you want to look into educating yourself a little bit more, or even going as far as I did to become a certified holistic cancer coach. You can do that as well, and you still get the 10% off if you choose to do something like that, which is very generous of you. Thank you so much, Zakariya. I really appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to getting Carl. And also, for those of you, I just want you to know that the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit that we're going to do is going to be focused on cancer and autoimmune diseases, and we're going to be doing this sometime in April. April 5th is, I believe, is the day. So stay tuned, write that date down, because we're going to start doing some things together that's going to empower all of us to embrace a more holistic solution. So thank you so much, Zakariya Frank,
Can
for
I plug
being
my
in the
show real quick?
classroom. Yes. Oh, yes, please do. How can they
Awesome.
get a hold of you?
Yeah, so anyone that liked what I had to say and how I had to say it, I also run a podcast of my own. So when you're done listening to every single episode of the Lily McDermott Classroom, and I've run out of that,
I know you
go
can
over
go.
to zachthehealthking.com and you can find my show. It's on every other platform that you can imagine: YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. The name of the show is The Health King's Court: Ancient Wisdom, Modern Health. And in it, I go into a variety of holistic health and wellness topics, anything from physical health to emotional health, spiritual health, relationships, society at large, seniors, children and babies, dogs. If it's in regards to living a healthy and fulfilled existence, I'm talking about it on the show with some very fascinating guests.
Well, I
So
hope I get to be one of your fascinating guests
come
sometime.
on down
Love to do
anytime.
that. Yeah,
Open
that would be
invitation.
fun. That would be fun. Well, Zakariya, you are amazing. I love the fact that you're years beyond your chronological age. So congratulations on that. And I hope that those truths that you're sharing with the younger generation, that they will listen and take heed and warning that there are other ways to embrace a holistic solution for your life. So good on you. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing.
Thank you as well, Lily. Listen, we're on the same team. So if everyone
Yes.
plays their part, the world becomes a better place.
Without a
Thank you.
doubt. Hey, I've got my new bracelet on, so I don't know if you guys can see this, but it says "Be the Change." I know it's glaring because all the there we go. Can you see that? It's time to be the change, and it needs to begin with you. Don't wait for somebody else to be the change. It is about us being the change, and all of us together working together to be the solution. So thank you so much for watching today, and please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lily McDermott and Zakariya Frank of beatcancer.org, wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job. Good job. That was great.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.